There was this video talking about Invincibles' voice actor problem. Apparently at the minute, the meta-narrative is the animations got so bad because the voice actors are being paid too much.
Invincible has a huge
Like, all the budget is going to the voice actors.
problem, and it has to do with the voice actors. About 2 weeks ago, I kept hearing about how the animation was getting worse.
I'll be honest, if he proves me wrong in this video, I will get out my chair and kneel. But I've heard this argument used so many times that it's the voice actors being paid too much that's killing the animation. But no one ever seems to show any proof. They just say it. And it's like, I'll be honest, like, the people that you have on this show, they're not A-listers. You've got Walton Goggins, who only really came into the, like, A-list category because of Invincible. He was in loads of stuff, but never as, like, the lead in huge stuff. Not that I know of. Stephen Yeun, I only really know him from The Walking Dead.
Play Hive Swap, that'd be lit.
Thank you, Ranger, for the 10. Appreciate it. He was also in Beef, the A24 Netflix show. That was also really good. You got J.K. Simmons as well, who has been... I mean, he's been in some big films. Like, he was in Whiplash, like, 10 years ago. But again, it's like, you know... Omni-Man is more a cameo at this point, especially with where we are in the show.
And how the show was getting sloppy. Even though I was really enjoying Season 3, I thought I might as well see if that's true. It was an excuse to rewatch the last 2 seasons and introduce my buddy to it. Yeah, I know, I'm a real hero. So as we're watching the Flaxen invasion scene...
Seth Rogen? Oh yeah, the Seth Rogen alien. Yeah. Yeah, he's a weird one because it's like, he's not A-list, but he would probably be paid a lot.
He says he has to go pee, and I pause the show. But as I pause, right at the bottom where Prime shows the cast, I see the voice actor for the Flaxens.
See, this guy is a really big actor, but he's never a lead. He is in huge multi-million-dollar films, but he'll either be like a side character, have a very small appearance, or be the bad guy.
Jimon Honsu. Wait,
He was in Blood Diamond, right? I think with Leonardo DiCaprio. He was really good in that film.
the guy from Blood Diamond?
I understood that reference.
Gladiator? Guardians of the Galaxy? That guy? Isn't he a kind of famous movie actor? Why is he voicing the space aliens who literally say gibberish with a voice filter and have one word of dialogue? It seemed like an odd choice, and so now
I mean, he wouldn't have been paid a lot for that, though. Unless Amazon are literally money laundering. Like, yeah, I don't think he would have been paid a lot for that.
every time we pause, I take a quick glance at the cast. It didn't take me long to realize that Invincible has a lot
Walton Goggins.
of celebrities doing the voice acting. Most of the main characters are voiced by pretty famous TV and movie actors, including side characters that have barely any lines.
Yeah, I love how good the animation is for this Season 2 promo. Like, it actually looks better than anything else in any series.
Or impact on the story. People
Like, it's so fluid.
like Jimon Honsu, which I mentioned earlier, John Hamm, who voices Steve,
I mean, John Hamm, again, isn't really a huge actor, though. He was in Mad Men, which was huge, but didn't that wrap up, like, basically, like, nearly 20 years ago? He was in Black Mirror as well for a single episode. Like, he's, you know, he's a big actor, but he's not, like, A-list. It's not like you're getting
Read
Robert Downey
Homestuck.
Jr. or something. Thank you, Jack, for the 10. I'm not reading Homestuck.
who? He's the guy at the very beginning.
It's the amount of prestige. Oh, yeah, no, if you build up your portfolio, definitely. But if you're not... Okay, so here's a good example, right? You have the Marvel universe. As much as everyone hates it, everyone that touches it becomes an A-lister, and they can demand so much money. Like Tom Holland. Like, if Tom Holland was in Invincible, I would definitely be like, okay, he's being paid a ton.
Who talks for 2 minutes before
Or someone like... who's the depressed British man that played Batman? Who's the depressed British man? Oh, yeah, Robert Pattinson. Yeah, so if you had, like, Robert Pattinson in this show, he'd be paid, like, a fat bag.
the Molar twins show up.
I am Steve.
Ella Purnell as the daughter of that one guy who died to Cahor. Justin Roiland.
I mean, she's weird, because, like, she's also... The thing is with this actress is, like, she only became popular recently. So I feel like studios could still try to negotiate her wage, because Fallout was big. Arcane was basically even bigger. And then Sweet Pea as well. I watched Sweet Pea. It's like a show, it's like a Sky show in the UK that no one watched, where she plays like a woman that like snaps and she becomes like a serial killer. That's a really good show. But she's only really like gained like fame relatively recently.
Justin Roiland as D.A. Sinclair's first victim.
All right, let's not comment on that one.
Tim Robinson as Philip Schaff.
Okay, I'm not going to comment on this guy because I feel like if I do, Americans are going to like rinse me. But I think he should leave is absolutely huge.
The comic book guy. And 19 Steven Yeun's. What's next? Are they going to get The Rock to voice Glacier Peanut Freeman in a cameo? Please don't do that. Look, I'm not against famous movie and television actors voicing people in shows. Steven Yeun, Sterling K. Brown, that guy from The Red One, Aaron Paul, they're all phenomenal. But when you're hiring such popular
He can't keep getting away with this.
actors for almost everyone, including the side characters that have 2 sentences of dialogue and never
I mean, Aaron Paul is another example as well. Everyone knows him from Breaking Bad. Everyone. Yeah, chat's saying Jesse. But it's like, he wasn't...
show up again, is that really necessary? For example, getting Ella Purnell to play as Jane while she's working on other big TV series like Arcane and Fallout couldn't have been cheap. And you can't get her to do other characters unless you want to add her to the shopping list of expensive cast members.
I mean, to be fair though, Amazon is renowned for hiring like non-mainstream actors for their shows. I'll be honest, guys, Rings of Power, that's apparently the most expensive show ever made. Do we know a single actor from anything else? Didn't think so.
The only way to get some bang out of your buck is to get it to do a few more lines for side characters that rarely...
I think it's like because Invincible is now hiring like actual known actors instead of hiring literal who's for their show. It's like people are like, oh, all the budget is going to the animation. I mean, all the budget is going to the voice actors, not the animation.
show up. You've already...
What's Rings of Power? It was an Amazon TV show talking about Lord of the Rings as like a prequel, but it was terrible. Literally the only good bit of the show was like the first episode of season 2 where Sauron just turns into like black goo, and that's it. Because it reminded me of Venom. They basically just stole the symbiote.
paid to bring it to the studio, so it would make sense to keep them there for more than 20 minutes. Get it to play multiple non-reoccurring bums or background nobodies like how Fred Tatasquaw does.
Holy, the amount of voices he does. Thank you, Mexican, for the $10. Appreciate it.
Oh, Fred is actually a professional voice actor, so it still wouldn't make sense. Because you're hiring an expensive actor.
How is it getting a third season? Season 3 is already out if you're talking about Invincible. Apparently they're halfway through the compendium now, like the entire story.
Like her.
Thank you, Jester, for the Prime.
To do what cheaper, more experienced people can do with the same impact. Respectfully, it's not like Purnell was needed to play Jane, so I guess it's an interesting cameo, but it's not.
Oh, Rings of Power? Amazon are just gonna keep dumping money into it, like regardless, like even if it flops. Like they don't care. It's like the new Snow White film that came out. It flopped. Like it's a 1.5 on IMDb, but it's mostly just like, you know, guys in their 20s that use that site. But the important thing is it flopped financially, but it's not going to stop them from making films like that. What video is that?
It's not like you get to see a face, and it's completely overshadowed by the Angstrom fight that happened 10 minutes ago. I didn't even know it was Ella Purnell until I was doing research for this video. And the same goes for the many other celebrities in it.
Yeah, I watched a film recently called The Predator, and it had Angstrom Levy's voice actor in it.
Invincible.
But that's the only thing that I know that guy from.
Frankly, it seems like a waste of money. A waste that'll only grow over time as new characters are introduced.
I mean, the thing is, we don't know how much these actors are being paid. I feel like we need to know how much these actors... Like, I don't mean to be, like, critical, over this video. I think it's really good. But, like, at the minute, I'm looking at putting an Invincible video together, going over, like, is the animation actually bad? And it's like, everyone keeps throwing around, there's too many famous people, but it's like, do we know how much they're actually being paid or not? Thank you, Nick Saw, for joining. Appreciate it.
Produced and given more screen time. Now, the reason I keep bringing up money is because executive producer Marge Dean said that Invincible's budget is only a quarter of what the shows like The Boys have, which is about $11.2 million per episode, meaning that Invincible only has $2.8 million per episode.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's actually nothing. Consider the fact as well that Invincible is like so overly long. Like most animated shows, they're like 20 to 30 minutes. Invincible is like 40 to 50 minutes per episode.
That is not a lot, considering how they're animating.
No, it's not a lot for animators. Genuinely, it's not.
Such a large, action-heavy IP. I definitely
Wait, what was that bit?
Is not a lot, considering how they're animating such a lot.
Yeah, I'm not watching this video. I'm not watching that video. It's every video, man. It's every video. There's always a bit. There's always a jab. There's always a snide. Like every single video. Every single video. It's crazy. Like, did he need to add the caption? Did he need to add the caption as well? Like, I was gonna skip past it, but then I saw like the word P, and I was like, okay, wait. Okay, all right. We'll finish it.
Action-heavy IP. I definitely could be wrong, but I'd bet that a quarter, possibly more, of Invincibles' $22.4 million budget is spent on the voice actors, which leaves only $17.8 million for composers,
Rushing or dragging?
directors,
Were you
writers,
rushing or were you
storyboard
dragging?
artists, music collabs, and finally, the animators.
Oh yeah, could you imagine how much the artists were paid? Like the music artists? That is where the millions would actually go, ironically.
To produce 6 hours of animation in a year. I want to frame just how unfair this is. Prime, one of the large...
I remember hiring an animation team for Darkwood. And I think it took them about 8 months to do like... around 10 minutes of animation. Obviously, the team was nowhere near as big as Invincibles. Well, I'm guessing not. It was like around 10 people, but still.
Largest streaming platforms releases Invincible Season 1 after 3 to 4 years of development. People are eating it up. And it quickly becomes a huge sensation on the internet. So Prime says to the...
Yeah, I swear Invincible would be nowhere near as popular as it is if the pilot episode wasn't bait. It was so clever how they set that up. It was like, no swearing, all the violence was really mild, and it was like, oh, this is just like Batman and Friends, this sucks. But then when you see that bit with the gore at the end, like that was the actual like hook. That was so genius on their part.
The animators, hey, we've been hearing about your latest success, so we'll give you the go-ahead on another season. So, 2.5 years later, they release Season 2, and once again, they've hit gold. But wait a second, there's a 4-month break. So Prime says to the animators,
Thank you, Red Heart Ninja, for the Prime. Attack on Titan had 3 seasons, 25 episodes, each 24 minutes as long, had a $550 million budget.
Unlucky.
Thank you, Pyromni Man, for the 10. Shut up. And it used to have an episode with a 10 out of 10 on IMDb. It had a 10 out of 10 rating because all the anime fans, they all just like stormed onto the site. They basically got tilted that Ozymandias got a 10 and they started review bombing it. I remember that day. That was a dark day. And also keep in mind, Attack on Titan, as great as it is, they spend 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes explaining what just happened. And then the other 10 minutes explaining what they're going to do next episode.
hey, so
I'm going to get shot for that opinion, but...
it turns out the fans really dislike the 4-month break. What's that about? Well, we've been working hard to get this out to a standard we want. But you know how it is. Animation is time consuming and we don't exactly have the money to bring on more animators. That Anime special took a lot of manpower. Yeah, we really needed that 4 months. I hear you, brother. We were actually
Hey,
meaning to
Pyro.
ask. I know this sounds crazy, but
Literally no fat people in Invincible, by the way.
do you think by any chance we could add that 4 months to the deadline instead of putting it in between episodes? Look, man, I hear you. How does this
You'll like how Asimov looks like after the Viltrumite War? What do you mean by that?
sound? February 6th. Like February 6th, 2027? No. February 6th, 2025. Are you serious?
They should have just spent more time animating the show. They should have not had... You know what killed the flow with me, with this show? That mid-season break. It's like, oh my god. That actually killed all the hype. Like, I would have waited another year easily if they were just able to get all of it out in, like, week after week.
That's less than a year. That's 9 months. You're giving me 9 months to animate. So they get to working. And after just 10 months, Season 3 is released. And this time, fans aren't happy. Fans are criticizing the animation for being a lot less fluid, having more static shots where the PNG just kind of moves across the screen, and being
I think the animation was always a bit like kind of choppy, except for the fight scenes. But I think now, as the show's got even more popular, people are just picking up on it.
somewhat lackluster at times.
Trust me, there's some shots in season 1 that are trash. Like, especially the conversations, like when Invincible, when he's talking to Deborah, his mum, like, it's just so static, all the shots. Like, they're just so lifeless.
See? You see? Oh, you don't see it?
And that's incredibly unfortunate, because the animators did the best with what little time and resources
It
they
becomes
had.
fat after
And to be honest, they received way too much hate. While it is admittedly not as well animated as the
Season
prior
5.
seasons, Season
I don't get, like, what this Russian psyop is you keep spamming.
3 isn't just good, it's amazing. You're telling me they made the Invincible War in 9 months? Who knows what more they could have done if they had the money for more staff. I want to close by saying, Prime, you're not DreamWorks. It's not Megamind. You can't just blow so much money on celebrities and expect a development time of 1 year. Maybe if you had $130 million, you could, but not with $22 million and 100 overworked employees.
It also sucks as well. They're obviously not putting a lot of budget into Invincible because they still don't trust 2D animated shows. Like, ever since we had that switch to 3D, I remember that like Disney, the last mainline Disney animated film they had was The Princess and the Frog. And then after that, they just moved straight to 2D for like everything. I think they have 3D for some stuff like kids shows and that, but yeah, like no mainstream films.
That's all I wanted to say. I've been putting off watching the finale until I finish this video, so I'll pin my comment letting you know.
Prince of Egypt? Yeah, no, it's actually a goated film. I remember watching it on VHS as a kid. That shows how old I am.
What I thought of the episode. I might think it's terrible, who knows. I'm also currently editing my big Marvel Rivals video. I'm trying to get...
Also, I remember everyone getting tilted over this guy not being voiced by Josh Brolin as all the TikTok sounds. But it's like, you literally had a rematch between Negan and Glenn. And that was on purpose, because Robert Kochman, like, he owns, like, both IPs. He did the Walking Dead comic and Invincible.
I'm also currently...
No, it is Negan. I know. Like, it's even better.
Editing
It was he did that on purpose, like saying it was a rematch.
my big Marvel Rivals video. I'm trying to get it out ASAP, so stay tuned. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, love you, bye.
Thoughts on the Severance finale? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I actually watched the Severance finale a couple days ago, and I don't even remember what happened. It's a good show. I was talking to Seth Everman about this, and he has this like schizo theory, which is pretty smart, where it's like he reckons they're gonna add another twist in the show where like everyone has like a third personality that no one else knows about, like a hidden personality. I can imagine they'd do that. Like if they ran out of ideas entirely, they would do that.